Hey there, Susie here. Today's episode of the Her Business podcast is brought to you by the Profitable Business Workshop. It's how to finally reach your money goals and take control of your business finances, even if you're not a numbers person. Join me at this brand new online workshop on Wednesday, the 10th of July. In this half-day workshop, I'll personally guide you through the exact process I've used to help thousands of business owners achieve their revenue goals, increase their profits, and feel more in control of their money. Register now at profitablebusinessworkshop.com. Well, hey there, welcome to the Her Business podcast, where we dive deep into the stories of women entrepreneurs who are making their mark. I'm Susie Daphnis, I'm your host, and I'm CEO at Her Business. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about you. And you, because you're listening to this, you are part of the Her Business community. And this community has completely changed my life. Now, I won't just be gushing about you here on this episode, even though I know you might want to actually hear that episode when I'm gushing over you. But I'm going to be talking about the prevalence of isolation and loneliness amongst women business owners and walking you through the power of growing, maintaining, and interacting with an online community of your own. Because community really is the only antidote for isolation. And more, we are seeing online communities and memberships pop up around the internet, and I love seeing that. But also, if you have value to offer the world and you love the idea of cultivating a community or teaching others, you might want to think about starting an online community of your own. I'm going to be giving you some tips to do that today. And while, of course, a community can be a way to make income, it might also turn out to be something truly impactful in your life. That is how it turned out for me. So I'm going to start with a little bit of story time, and that is to tell you that when I started my business with my partner PJ, we did not have many friends who were also in business. In fact, I don't think we had any friends who were business owners, and I didn't know any women business owners personally, so I was kind of toughing it out on my own, trying to piece together a business, not sure if what I was doing was even on track. Maybe you felt that way too. But 6 months into owning my own business, I came across what was then called the Australian Businesswomen's Network. And you know what? I didn't even know communities like that existed. And I was kind of tentative about getting involved because I felt a little bit of a fraud. I'd only been in business for 6 months and I didn't really know if I fit in with these business women. But I did get involved, and that community ended up being a primary source of education and inspiration and connections for me. And I loved the organisation so much and the idea of connecting with other business owners that I started to run the Sydney office. And then one day, I bought the business. And that community has become such an important part of my life and birthed so many fruitful business relationships and opportunities. And hint, hint, if you didn't already realise, that community is what is now Her Business. Now, I realized the power that is community. And I started to seek out other business owners at the same stage of business, and I joined programs and masterminds, and I've done that, joined other communities ever since then, because having people around you that truly get you and what you're trying to achieve in business is the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Because you speak a similar language. You understand the challenges that come with growth. You understand how vulnerable you can feel when something long planned for doesn't go as planned and you find yourself in a financial or an emotional hole. Now, my community is essential to me, and I tap into it every day, every week, every month, every year. Why? Because it's a sounding board for advice and it's access to connections and to resources. So think about your industry, whatever it might be, and think about how you felt just starting out in business. Now, I read a Forbes article recently that talked about the loneliness of being an entrepreneur. And what they found was that business owners and entrepreneurs were significantly more likely to feel stress and anxiety than those in other roles. It is simply lonely to be the boss of things. And while it feels exciting and exhilarating most days, and sometimes you feel like you're walking on air, it's just not the everyday reality when you practically live in your office, you're glued to a computer screen, and you rarely see another human face. And one thing women who start their own business often say to me is, I wasn't expecting to feel so alone. Even if you're surrounded by people who love and care for you, there can still be times where it feels like there's no one that you can turn to. Friends just don't get it. Your partner, your family, other important people in your life, they love you, they mean well, but they can sometimes actually keep you down by trying to keep you safe and from taking risks. And you can begin to second guess yourself, questioning whether you're even on the right path. But if you're lucky enough, you meet others along the way who understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur. These are the people you can go to for much needed advice, or to share a win, or to have a laugh, or be inspired, or to actually get the nudge that you need to step up and step out. That is your community. And it's your community that will keep you going through good times and bad. It'll help you keep the spark alive and build your momentum. And it's your community that will lift you up and let you know that you're never alone. Finding an online community is one of the best ways to combat the loneliness we often feel as entrepreneurs and business owners. So if you're interested in starting your own online community for people in your industry or people around your business, here are a few tips that I've learned in almost 30 years of running this beautiful community called Her Business. The first thing is, when you're starting out, you want to blend strategy with practicality. So while you might have the best intentions, you do need some sort of strategy and a growth strategy. How are you going to reach more people who might be looking for a community like yours? So you want to work on clarifying your mission and the goals of the community and who it's for and who it's not for. What are the specific needs or challenges that future committee members are facing that might draw them to your community? At Her Business, our focus is on empowering women, business owners specifically, through sharing knowledge, education, networking opportunities, and mutual support and resources. Now, once you have the clarity on who exactly your community is for, you want to think about, well, what sort of content am I going to share with this community? Because the content is the lifeblood of the community. Whether that's offering valuable resources, encouraging discussions, finding ways to collaborate and engage with community members. It's not a build it and they will come kind of thing. Having a community is quite a responsibility and requires you to publish content. So whether that is social posts or emails or newsletters or whatever it is that's going to keep you in touch with that community. And so you want to find a method in which your community can interact without you as well, so that they can form authentic connections on their own. I'm going to give you a couple of tips in a moment. But this is where fun things like meetups or networking events or check-in calls can come in, where those members of your community can meet with each other. My second tip is about maintaining your online community. So you want to make sure that engagement doesn't stop after you started your community. You need to keep your content dynamic with regular updates and fresh content. And you could rotate featured discussion topics or host theme events or spotlight member achievements. You could also offer some sort of personalized support to your community members, maybe at a price, or opportunities for members or ways for them to network. And part of maintaining a healthy community, I feel, is getting feedback from the community. I love getting feedback from the Her Business community. So implementing feedback loops and regularly soliciting feedback and comments through surveys or polls or just here and there, asking questions, it can give you so much good information. So actively listening to what your community members are asking for and then working to provide them what they need is part of that maintaining the online community. And my third tip is getting the right technology. Behind every successful online community is a robust tech infrastructure and system. So you need some sort of community management platform. So whether that is Facebook and a Facebook group, whether it's Mighty Networks or Circle or Discord, somewhere where members of your community can talk to each other, can interact with your content, and can easily get a hold of you or one of your team. So having features like discussion threads or event scheduling or even a member directory are really essentials in my book. And you need tech also for that content creation and distribution so that you can get your valuable information to your community. So that could include, running online programs through Zoom or Google or having some sort of space. Maybe it's a blog, or whether it's an email that goes out regularly with updates. So you want to think about, what is the technology that I'm going to need to have in place in order to run this community? And on top of that, of course, if it's a membership, then you might want some membership software that's slightly different. But otherwise, if you're just running an online community, you still might want to have some things that are automated and some things that are systemized so that you don't have to be doing all the doing. Now, I know that you're probably thinking, this already sounds like a lot, Susie, and I'm not going to lie to you, it is a lot to manage an online community, and maybe you think I'm a little crazy for deciding to buy Her Business and make this my full-time passion project, but anyone who runs a community like Her Business will agree with me, it is so worth it. Every email, every annoying tech issue, every task that I or the team needs to do, because nurturing a community has become one of the most meaningful parts of my life. I love this community of women so much, and for almost 30 years, they have been my highest priority because I have been in their shoes. I'm still in their shoes many days. And while I mentor and teach them, they teach me right back with their grit, their determination, their humanity. And I want nothing more than for them to succeed in creating businesses that they absolutely love, that give them the lives that they really want to create. And I think about them all the time, which is kind of nuts, I know, but I really believe my life's purpose is to support women, just like our Her Business members, to be free, financially free, creatively free, free from limitations they may have set themselves earlier in their life, free from societal limitations, and also that internal chatter, that internal dialogue that can keep us stuck. And I learn so much every day from seeing them innovate and grow, face hurdles, and really work together to overcome them. And nothing makes me happier than seeing their wins and progress and seeing them lift each other up. Inside of Her Business, we have something that we call the lift up move, which is this: whether you are reeling from some tough news or a setback, or you're busting to share a big win or accomplishment, how your community responds to your news and acknowledges you will either lift you up or tear you down. And you want to be in networks, you want to be in environments, you want to be in communities where the lift up move is the natural inclination. And what we're talking about here is finding communities of people where it's all about collaboration and not about competition. That's exactly what the Her Business community is. So if you are thinking about building an online community on your own, do it. You might find yourself with your very own cheering squad / business best friends / culture shifting mob like we have with Her Business. We have so many incredible members in the Her Business network, and I want to tell you what some of them say about this idea of loneliness as a business owner and how they combat it. So Jane Day has a business where she helps small business owners, many of them our members, to create Facebook ad campaigns and do digital marketing. And she said, being a Her Business member has enabled me to network and meet with other like-minded women. Having a support team behind you and knowing others are going through or have been through similar challenges makes us feel less alone when running our own business. And Erica Webb of Self-Kind, she has a beautiful business where she works with people who are really sensitive through somatics, through working with their body. And she said for her, community is why she's part of her business. She said, I work by myself and can often feel the weight of not knowing who to turn to for advice. Her Business network is always there to solve that problem. I love that women within the network have such a diverse range of experience and are incredibly knowledgeable and supportive. And Marcy from Her Self-Health said, the problem of isolation is solved by being part of Her Business. It provides me with an opportunity to create connections and a support network of like-minded professionals. She said, I found Her Business in early 2020. I just started my business and everything suddenly stopped when COVID hit. Her Business was my lifeline to the outside business world and remains a great source of inspiration, knowledge, clients, and friends. And Sean Rocco, who works in large corporations, bringing mindfulness to those corporate teams, she said, the number one problem that being a member of Her Business solves for me is isolation. Knowing there are experts and others who have walked or are on the path of business development, willing to offer advice, support, and encouragement along the way is invaluable. So if you'd like to join us in this wonderfully empowering community of women and start creating your big business goals, we've now made places available inside the Her Business Network, and you can learn more by heading over to herbusinessnetwork.com. There's a live chat on the page, so if you have questions, just let me know. And what I've done is over on herbusiness.com/262, you're going to find a summary of what we've covered in today's episode, as well as any useful links. So I just want to say, there is no need for us to feel lonely in business. And what can happen sometimes, especially if we're introverts like me, we can feel like, well, I'll just sit here on my own and grow this business. I should be able to figure this out. And sometimes the longer we're in business, the more we think, well, I should be able to figure this out. And the truth is, it's just so much easier when you have a community around you, because that loneliness, as that Forbes article indicated, can lead to stress and anxiety. And I want to help you alleviate yourself of all that by just feeling connected to some other human beings who are having a similar experience. They are humans having a business experience. That's exactly what the Her Business Network was created to support you with. So if you are interested, do let us know. If you enjoyed this episode, if you are taking away at least one little bit of a nugget of something that you can use, would you email me at podcast@herbusiness.com? The thing with podcasting is you put your thoughts and ideas and your heart out there, and you know people are listening, but you don't know if something really lands. So if you wanted to email me, you can do that at podcast@herbusiness.com. I answer every email. If you enjoyed this episode and you would be willing to head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating or a review, I would so appreciate it. That's how we get other women listening to the show and learning about the show. I love doing this show for you. I want to thank you so much for listening. I will see you next time right here on the Her Business Podcast. Hey, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button or the follow button if you're on Apple Podcasts. That means next week's episode would drop right into your feed as soon as it's available. And we've got lots of great guests and great topics coming up. Thank you so much for listening. Join me next time right here on the Her Business Podcast. Bye for now.